Hello and welcome to Decision 2024, the 2024 election night video, a sequel to my Democrat dream scenario. And as I said in that video, this is not my official prediction. This is a dream scenario. This is unrealistic. I said that last time, but I'm expecting some "this ain't gonna happen" bias comments, whatever. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get into the election night. It is now 7 p.m. and the following states have poll closings. Out of Georgia, Donald Trump, despite all of his indictments, convictions, he is still expected to sweep the state of Georgia, a far cry from the past few elections where Georgia's been under 10%. Donald Trump is expected to not only flip the state, but as well as to go on to win the state by 14 points, doing a lot better in the rural areas, honestly, essentially maxing out the rural areas, if not getting close to it, doing better in the suburbs outside of Atlanta, not the Atlanta suburbs, but the, other suburbs around the state. In Indiana, Donald Trump will be the projected winner, going on to win the state by 31 points, doing very well with white working class voters this election cycle. Out of Kentucky, Donald Trump will be the projected winner out of this state, no surprise here, going on to win the state by 41 points. Out of the state of South Carolina, Donald Trump will be the projected winner, going on to win this state by 26 points, a huge improvement from his 11-point victory 4 years ago. Out of the state of Vermont, Joe Biden is the projected winner. No surprise here, he's going on to win the state of Vermont, but by a much lesser margin than, many had expected, going on to win here by roughly 19 points. And out of the state of Virginia, it is currently too close to call. Joe Biden currently has a 13-point lead over Donald Trump. And here is the current election map on your screen now. Donald Trump and his running mate Kristi Noem having 44 electoral votes against Joe Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris and their 3 electoral votes, that being from the state of Vermont. Taking a look at Senate races, Jim Banks will be elected to his first term to the United States Senate, defeating Mark Carmichael, a former state senator from the state of Indiana. He'll go on to win by a very similar margin to Donald Trump. Out of Vermont, Bernie Sanders will win yet another term to the United States Senate, defeating another independent, Chris Erickson, by 26 points. Out of the state of Virginia, currently too close to call, Tim Kaine slightly overperforming Joe Biden, leading by around 22 points over Hung Chow. And here's the current Senate composition so far. Democrats have 29 seats and the Republicans have 39 seats. In order for the Republicans to gain a majority, they need either 1 seat and the presidency, or just 2 Senate seats outright to get an outright majority. Out of Indiana's governor race, incumbent Senator Mike Braun will be elected to his first term as governor. He retired, decided to not run for a second term as senator, instead run for governor of Indiana, and he has been successful in doing that. However, doing slightly worse than both Jim Banks and Donald Trump, defeating Jennifer McCormick, a former Republican turned Democrat superintendent, education superintendent of the state of Indiana. They go on to win by around 26 points. Out of Vermont's governor race, Phil Scott will win yet another term as governor, defeating David Zuckerman by 26 points, winning every single county in Vermont in the process. And here's the governor compositions. The Democrats, led by Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs, have 20 seats, and the Republicans, led by Alabama Governor Kay Ivey, at 21 seats. It is now 7:30 p.m. and the following states have poll closings. Out of North Carolina, a swing state now being called at poll closings. Donald Trump is the projected winner out of this swing state. Typically, he is going on to win by 16 points. North Carolina hasn't gone double digits in I don't know how long. It's been quite a long time since this has happened. Out of Ohio, Donald Trump is the projected winner, going on to win this state by 23 points, actually, going on to win the state by 23 points. A big victory for Donald Trump with white working class voters here in the state of Ohio. Out of West Virginia, Donald Trump is the projected winner out of one of the reddest states in the union, winning by around 54 percentage points. Out of Virginia, it's still too close to call, but it is narrowed up a lot. Democrats are starting to sweat here in the state of Virginia, as Joe Biden only has a 2-point lead over Donald Trump right now. And here is the current electoral map on your screen. Donald Trump has increased his lead 81-3, as Biden and Harris have not won any more states outside of Vermont. And out of Ohio Senate race, Bernie Moreno will be the projected winner, flipping the Senate seat from red to blue. Democrats were hoping this would be competitive, but Bernie Moreno will go on to win by 18 points against Sherrod Brown, the incumbent Democrat senator out of Ohio. Out of West Virginia, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Big Jim Justice, will be elected to his first term to the United States Senate. The best governor in the country is about to become the best senator as he flips a Senate seat for the Republican Party, going on to defeat Joe Manchin by roughly 48 points. Out of Virginia Senate race, too close to call. It is narrowed up a bit, not as much as it did on the presidential level. Tim Kaine now has a 12-point lead over Hung Chau. And here's the current Senate compositions. Democrats are now at 29 seats, with the Republicans 41. Republicans are gaining seats like crazy tonight. Out of North Carolina's governor race, Mark Robinson, most likely being carried by Donald Trump, though it's hard to tell, really. He has flipped this governor's mansion from blue to red as he will go on to defeat Josh Stein by roughly similar margin to Donald Trump's victory in the state. Out of West Virginia's governor race, Mac Warner will be the projected winner as he goes on to defeat Steve Williams by roughly the same margin Jim Justice beat Joe Manchin by. And here's the current governor's composition. Democrats have 20 seats and the Republicans have 23. It is now 8 p.m. and the following states have poll closings. Out of Alabama, Donald Trump is the projected winner, going on to win the state by around 40 points. Out of Florida, Donald Trump will win this state, a state that went to double digits to Ron DeSantis and Marco Rubio back in the midterms. Looks like it's going to be doing the same here, and Donald Trump just slightly underperforms Ron DeSantis and runs even with Marco Rubio, winning the state by around 18 points. Out of Maine's 2nd Congressional District, Donald Trump will win this state. It was competitive 4 years ago. Now it's back to being a solid Republican district again. Out of Mississippi, Donald Trump is the projected winner, going on to win this state by around 31 points, doing very well in the Black Belt as he won 3 counties down there in the midsection of Mississippi. Out of Missouri, Donald Trump being the projected winner here again, winning by 30 points, winning the the swing county in the center of the state. I don't remember what it's called at the top of my head, but he did win that county, a county that has typically gone Democrat the past few cycles. Donald Trump has flipped that county this year. Out of Oklahoma, Donald Trump is the projected winner, going on to win this state. Going on to win this state by around 48 points. Excuse me, my mind just blanked. Out of Pennsylvania, another swing state that is being called at poll closing. Donald Trump will flip the state of Pennsylvania here tonight, winning it by around 13 points, winning Erie County, winning Center County, winning, I believe, Bucks County in the process. A big win for Donald Trump here tonight. He is looking to have a phenomenal night despite all the convictions and everything leading up to this. Out of Tennessee, Donald Trump is the projected winner, going on to win the state by around 38 percentage points. Big win there. Out of D.C., no surprise here, Joe Biden will be the projected winner here, getting more electoral votes. Out of Maryland, Joe Biden will be the projected winner. He spent quite a bit of time here in the state of Maryland. It was believed he was trying to break a record, trying to win by the biggest margin, but that doesn't seem to happen as he goes on to win by around 19 points in the state of Maryland. Big underperformance of his victory, a 33-point victory 4 years ago. Out of Massachusetts, Joe Biden is the projected winner, also winning by around 19 points in this state. Out of Connecticut, is currently too close to call. Joe Biden has a 32-point lead over Donald Trump right now, but Connecticut, we can't make a call right now. Out of Delaware, this is the president's home state. Biden currently has a 30-point lead over Donald Trump. Out of Illinois, currently too close to call. This is former President Barack Obama's home state. Biden has a 26-point lead over Donald Trump. Out of Maine, currently too close to call. Joe Biden has an 8-point lead here. Not good signs for him. Out of Maine's 1st Congressional District, too close to call. Joe Biden has a 36-point lead over Donald Trump. Out of New Hampshire, it is currently too close to call. Joe Biden has a 6-point lead over Donald Trump here in the state. Out of New Jersey, too close to call. Biden has a roughly 24-point lead over Donald Trump, I'll say. Out of Rhode Island, too close to call. Biden has a 34-point lead over Trump. And we can make a huge call here. Many people did not think it was possible, but out of the state of Virginia, Donald Trump will be the projected winner, flipping the state of Virginia, being the first Republican since George W. Bush back in 2004 to win the state of Virginia on the presidential level, defeating Joe Biden by 4 percentage points, even doing better than Glenn Youngkin's gubernatorial victory back in 2021. And here's the current electoral map. Donald Trump's lead has increased yet again from 187 to Despite making electoral gains since he won the state of Vermont, Biden is now at 27 electoral votes. At a Connecticut Senate race, Chris Murphy will outperform Joe Biden and will go on to win re-election by 10 points over Robert Hyde, and he will be re-elected to the United States Senate. At a Maryland Senate race, Angela Alsobrooks will be elected to her first term to the United States Senate, defeating Robin Ficker by around 24 percentage points. At a Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren will also overperform and will be re-elected to another term, defeating Shiva Ayyadurai. Out of Rhode Island Senate race, Sheldon Whitehouse, another Democrat, down-ballot Democrat outperforming the president, will go on to win re-election to another term, defeating Patricia Morgan. Out of Florida Senate race, Rick Scott will go on to run even with Donald Trump and defeat Debbie Murkowski-Powell by around 18 points. Out of Mississippi, Roger Wicker will win another term as a U.S. Senator, defeating Omaria Scott and outperforming Donald Trump in the process. Out of Missouri, Josh Hawley will be the projected winner, defeating Wesley Bell and winning another term as Senator. Out of Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn will outperform Donald Trump and win re-election to the United States Senate, defeating Marquita Bradshaw. And out of Delaware, Senate race is currently too close to call. Lisa Rochester is currently leading Lauren Witzke by 40 points. She's also outperforming President Biden as well, considering Lauren Witzke is a QAnon conspiracy theorist. And out of Maine, Senate race currently too close to call. Angus King is currently under 50%, which would avoid the whole ranked choice voting system that's in Maine. However, it doesn't look like he has anything to worry about. Richard Bennett is in second, the Republican at 31%, and the Democrat Cynthia Dill is at 22%. So Cynthia Dill will probably be knocked out of the ranked choice voting, and most of her votes will probably go to Angus King, but we'll just have to wait and find out. Out of New Jersey, Senate race currently too close to call. Bob Menendez currently has a 12-point lead over Andrew Sedimon Aristotle, former treasurer of New Jersey. Out of Pennsylvania, Senate race too close to call. Bob Casey Jr. only has a 4-point lead over David McCormick. That is not a good sign for his re-election chances. Out of Virginia, Senate race too close to call. Still, Tim Kaine's lead has dropped from 12 to 6 points over Hung Chow now. And now here's the current Senate composition. The Democrats are at 33 seats and the Republicans are at 45 seats. Out of Missouri's governor race, Jay Ashcroft will be elected to his first term as governor, going on to defeat Crystal Quaid. And out of Delaware's governor race is currently too close to call. Bethany Hall Long is currently leading by 30 points over Colin Benini. Out of New Hampshire's governor race too close to call. Joyce Craig currently has a 6-point lead over former U.S. Senator Kelly Ayotte. This is a very heated election, a very heated contest right now, as you know, New Hampshire was dominated by Chris Sununu on the governor's mansion for 8 years. So Democrats are really hoping to flip this seat. And here's the current governor's composition. Democrats are at 20 seats and the Republicans are at 24. The Republicans only need 2 more seats in order to retain the majority in the governor's mansions. It is now 8:30 p.m. We now have poll closings out of the state of Arkansas. No surprise here, Donald Trump will be the projected winner out of the state of Arkansas, winning by around 43 percentage points. Out of Connecticut, Joe Biden will be will be the projected winner here. We can finally make a call here as he goes on to win by around 5 percentage points over Donald Trump. Out of Maine, Donald Trump will flip the state at large. It's a big victory for Donald Trump. This is a state he did target back in 2020. Didn't really do much for him, but now it is doing great things for him as he goes on to win Maine by 6 percentage points. And Joe Biden will still go on to carry Maine's first congressional district by 7 points. Out of New Hampshire, another state Donald Trump targeted in 2020 that didn't give him much luck, Donald Trump will flip the state of New Hampshire this time, going on to win here by around 7 points. A big victory for Donald Trump. Out of Rhode Island, Joe Biden is the projected winner here. We can now make a call that Biden will go on to win in Rhode Island by 6 percentage points. And out of Delaware, it is still too close to call. Despite it being Joe Biden's home state, he's not doing well here, only leading by 10 points right now. Out of Illinois, too close to call. Biden only leading by 6 in Illinois. Out of New Jersey, too close to call. Biden leading by 4 in New Jersey. That is not good for him. And here's the current electoral map. Donald Trump leads 199 to Joe Biden's 39. And out of Maine Senate race, we can now call that Angus King will be reelected to, I believe, his 3rd term to the United States Senate, defeating Richard Bennett on the final ballot, winning by around 20 points. Like I said earlier, Cynthia Dill's votes mostly went to him. And out of Pennsylvania, Senate race, a huge upset. You know, thinking about this 4 years ago, hell, even after 2022, nobody thought this was possible, but David McCormick has flipped the Pennsylvania Senate race from blue to red, defeating Bob Casey Jr. Excuse me, I don't have a whatchamacallit for it. My bad. But McCormick will go on to win by around 8 points over Bob Casey Jr. At a Delaware Senate race, Lisa Rochester will go on to defeat Lauren Witzke by around 9 percentage points. Oh, there it is. It's not where it needs to be. Oh well, but like I said earlier, McCormick wins by 8. At a New Jersey Senate race, still too close to call. Menendez only leads by 2 over Sedimon Aristoff. The controversies that have followed and plagued Menendez's Senate career, they might have finally caught up to him. At a Virginia Senate race, still too close to call. Tim Kaine now has a 4-point lead over Hung Chow. And here's the Senate composition. Democrats are at 35 seats to the Republicans 46. At a New Hampshire's governor race, this should be expected due to Donald Trump's victory here, but Kelly Ayotte will keep the governor's mansion red as she goes on to defeat Joyce Craig by 7 points. At a Delaware's governor race, still too close to call. Bethany Hall Long has a 10-point lead over Colin Bonini. And here's the current governor's composition. Democrats are at 20 seats and the Republicans are at 25. Democrats' best chance now is to, either tie up the governor's mansion or Republicans just outright take it with one more victory. It is now 9 p.m. and the following states have poll closings. And out of Arizona, being called right at poll closings, Donald Trump will flip this state from blue to red, going on to win here by around 14 percentage points, going on to win here, big numbers. Out of Kansas, Donald Trump will be the projected winner, going on to win by 30 points in the state of Kansas. And out of Louisiana, Donald Trump will be the projected winner, winning here by 33 points. Out of Michigan, Donald Trump will win this swing state at poll closings, flipping the state of Michigan, winning here by around 12 percentage points, doing very well just in general. Out of Nebraska, Donald Trump will be the projected winner. He will go on to win the state at large, as well as all congressional districts, all 3 congressional districts, winning here by 34 points. Out of North Dakota, Donald Trump will be the projected winner, winning here by around 49 points. A big win for him. Out of South Dakota, similar thing here. He will go on to win by around 41 points. And out of Texas, Donald Trump bringing Texas back to a safe Republican state, at least for this election. It will probably change in the future, very near future, as Donald Trump ends up winning the state of Texas by 20 points. A big victory for him out of the state of Texas, doing very well with Hispanic voters overall. Out of Wisconsin, Donald Trump will win this typical swing state at poll closings. Do not fucking drink every time I say that. You will die. He will end up flipping the state from blue to red, winning Wisconsin by around 14 percentage points. Out of Wyoming, Donald Trump will be the projected winner, going on to win here by almost 60 points. Honestly impressive. And we can now project that Donald Trump will be re-elected the 47th president of the United States, re-elected to a second non-consecutive term, defeating Joe Biden at the end of the day. Out of Colorado, it is currently too close to call, as Biden has an 18-point lead over Donald Trump. Out of Minnesota, too close to call, Biden has a 6-point lead over Trump. New Mexico, too close to call, Biden's lead is around 14 points. New York, too close to call, Biden's lead is 38 points. He's got a big lead here, so we shouldn't have to worry. But here's the electoral map. Donald Trump's at 303 electoral votes. Biden hasn't even hit 40 yet. Hasn't even hit 50, as he's at 39 electoral votes. However, we expect that to change as we continue to head west. When California comes in, we expect him to hit 100 electoral votes. And we can now make a call out of the state of Delaware. Joe Biden will be the projected winner here out of Delaware, finally winning his home state by around 4 points, his worst performance in the state yet. And out of Illinois, Joe Biden is the projected winner, winning it by 2 points, a very close election here in Illinois. Out of New Jersey, too close to call, Joe Biden will go on to win the state by 1 point, doing even worse than Phil Murphy. And here is the current electoral map. Biden has increased his lead to 70, or increased his electoral numbers to 75. And out of Arizona Senate race, Mark Lamb will be elected to his first term as U.S. Senator, flipping the seat from independent to Republican, defeating Ruben Gallego by 20 points in an even bigger margin, as Kirsten Sinema took away 12% of the vote from probably both candidates. And here's the map on your screen now. And out of Michigan Senate race, James Craig, being helped by Donald Trump along the way, will end up flipping this Senate seat, defeating Alessa Slotkin by 12 points. And out of Minnesota Senate race, it is currently too close to call. Amy Klobuchar, an electoral juggernaut in the state, is currently outperforming Joe Biden, leading by around 16 points over Royce White. And at a Nebraska Senate race, Deb Fisher will be re-elected to another term, defeating Scott Klebe by around 29 points, underperforming Donald Trump's numbers. However, someone who isn't underperforming is actually running even is Pete Ricketts, who will be elected to his first full term, defeating Annette Dubas. And out of North Dakota Senate race, Kevin Cramer will be elected to his second term to the United States Senate, defeating Joel Heitkamp, who is the brother of Heidi Heitkamp, who Cramer defeated 6 years ago. At a Texas Senate race, Ted Cruz, despite being woefully unpopular, will be re-elected to another term to the United States Senate, defeating Colin Allred by 15 points. And at a Wyoming Senate race, Sean Barrasso will be re-elected to another term, defeating Gary Schroner. And at a New Mexico Senate race, currently too close to call, Martin Heinrich has a 14-point lead over Aubrey Dunn Jr. Out of New York, too close to call, Kirsten Gillibrand has a 38-point lead over former Congressman Chris Gibson. Out of Wisconsin Senate race, too close to call, Tammy Baldwin outperforming Biden enough to make this competitive, as she has a 2-point lead over former Milwaukee Sheriff David Clark. And we can now project that the majority will go to the Republicans. Republicans have regained the U.S. Senate majority this election cycle. We'll just have to wait to see how many Senate seats they win at the end of the night. But we can now make another big announcement in a New Jersey Senate race. Andrew Sidamon Aristov will be elected to his first term to the U.S. Senate, defeating Bob Menendez by 3 percentage points. A big win for the Republicans here tonight out of New Jersey. Out of Virginia Senate race, it is still too close to call, as Kane has a 2-point lead over Hung Chau now. And here is the current Senate composition. The Democrats have 35 seats and the Republicans are at 54. Honestly, we're not expecting Republicans to gain a filibuster-proof majority, but anything is still possible tonight with how well Republicans are performing. And out of North Dakota's governor race, Kelly Armstrong will be elected to his first term as governor, defeating Joshua Bashi by around 44 points, it looks like. And now we can make the projection that the Republicans will retain their majority in the governor's mansion. And out of Delaware's governor race, Bethany Hall Long will be elected to her first term as governor, defeating Colin Benini by 4 points. And here's the governor's composition now. The Democrats are at 21 seats and the Republicans are at 26 seats, which is what they had before tonight. It is now 10 p.m. in the following states. It is now poll closings in the following states, excuse me. Out of Iowa, Donald Trump will be the projected winner here, winning this state by around 23 percentage points. Big win there. Out of Montana, Donald Trump is the projected winner, shifting this state to the right by quite a bit as he wins here by 31 points. Out of Nevada, Donald Trump will win this state at poll closings. Big shift to the right as he ends up winning here by 12 points, even winning Clark County in the process, doing very well in Las Vegas. Out of Utah, Donald Trump will be the projected winner in this state, winning by 36 points. And out of Minnesota, Donald Trump will flip this state, the first Republican to do so since Nixon back in 76. Or 72, excuse me. Trump will win the state of Minnesota here tonight, winning it by around 7 percentage points. Out of New York, Joe Biden will be the projected winner, going on to win this state by 8 points. Roughly just barely outperforming Kathy Hochul's gubernatorial numbers back in 2022 against Lee Zeldin. And out of Colorado, it is currently too close to call still. Biden's lead is only at 2%. Despite being a progressive state, it looks like Biden couldn't get his turnout game on this election. And out of New Mexico, same story here, except Biden has a 6-point lead. And here's the electoral map now. Donald Trump is at 335 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 103. We were confident that Biden would gain 100 electoral votes, but we don't think he'll reach 200. Out of Montana Senate race, Tim Sheehy will go on to flip this Senate seat to the Republican Party, defeating John Tester by 26 points, underperforming Donald Trump against a pretty popular incumbent, but still destroying him in the process. Out of Nevada Senate race, another gain for the Republicans. Jeffrey Gunther, an ambassador from the Trump administration, will flip this Senate seat, defeating Jack DeRozan by 12 points. Out of Utah Senate race, Trent Staggs will be elected to his first term to the United States Senate, defeating Liz Escamilla by 36 points, excuse me. Out of New York Senate race, we can now project that Kirsten Gillibrand will be elected to another term to the U.S. Senate, defeating Chris Gibson by 8 points. Out of Wisconsin Senate race, another gain for the Republicans. David Clark will go on to win this Senate seat by 9 points, just underperforming Donald Trump enough to make it competitive. And out of New Mexico Senate race, too close to call, Martin Heinrich now has a 6-point lead over Aubrey Dunn Jr. Out of Virginia Senate race, too close to call. Tim Kaine now has a 1-point lead over Hung Chow. This is a tight election out of the state of Virginia. And here is the current Senate composition. Democrats are at 36 seats and the Republicans are at 58. Republicans so close to a filibuster-proof majority. They need 60 seats for that. They are only 2 away. Out of Montana's governor race, Greg Gianforte, a pretty popular governor, will be re-elected to another term, defeating Casey Schreiner by 36 points, outperforming Donald Trump in the process. Out of Utah's governor race, Jason Chaffetz, who primaried out Spencer Cox, will be elected to another term, his first term as governor, winning here by 36 points. And here is the current governor's composition. Democrats are at 21 seats to the Republicans 28. And it is now 11 p.m. when the following states have poll closings. Out of California, Joe Biden will be the projected winner here, going on to win the state by around 14 percentage points, a massive underperformance of his numbers 4 years ago. Out of Hawaii, Joe Biden will be the projected winner here. No surprise, going on to win here by 15 points. Out of Idaho, Donald Trump will easily be the projected winner here, winning by around 46 points. Out of Oregon, it is currently too close to call. Biden has a 24-point lead here in the state. Washington, too close to call. Biden's lead is around 30 points in this state. Out of Colorado, a big win for the Republicans. Despite being a pretty progressive state, turnout was abysmal this year, and that is only helping Donald Trump and the Republicans win all these seats due to the low turnout. Turnout's in the low 40s. That's the numbers we're getting right now, but Donald Trump is the projected winner out of the state of Colorado, winning here by 1 percentage point. Big win for Donald Trump and the Republicans. Same thing out of New Mexico, however, by a slightly larger margin, as Trump will end up winning this state by around 3 points. And here is the current electoral map. Donald Trump is landsliding this election, 354 electoral votes to Biden's 161. Out of California Senate race, we can now project that Katie Porter will be the projected winner here, defeating Adam Schiff by around 7 percentage points, as what few Republicans did turn out to vote in this Senate race ended up voting for Porter due to their hatred for Adam Schiff, and that is how Katie Porter got elected. And out of Hawaii Senate race, Matthew Hirono will go on to win another term to the U.S. Senate, defeating Duke Iona by 10 points, underperforming Joe Biden. And Washington Senate race, too close to call. Mariah Cantwell has a 30-point lead over Raul Garcia. Out of New Mexico Senate race, Rand Paul just got beat for being the most libertarian member of the U.S. Senate, as Aubrey Dunn Jr. has now taken that spot, as well as New Mexico's senator. This is a gain for the Republicans, as Dunn defeating Heinrich by around 3 percentage points. Out of Minnesota Senate race, a huge upset as Royce White will go on to flip this Senate seat for the Republicans, defeating Amy Klobuchar by 2 points. The Klobuchar machine has been defeated, it seems like. It's a huge shocker. Out of Virginia Senate race, still too close to call, a statistical tie between the two candidates. And here's the current Senate composition. Republicans have gotten their filibuster-proof majority. I can't believe it. But that's what happens when you get a low turnout election, it seems like. The Democrats are at 38 seats right now. Let's see if they can keep going with... Let's see if they can actually win these last 2 seats tonight. Out of Washington's governor race is currently too close to call, as Bob Ferguson's a 30-point lead over Dave Reichert. And here's the current governor's composition. There has been no change. It is now 1 a.m. We have poll closings out of the state of Alaska, as Donald Trump will go on to win the state of Alaska by 25 points. Yeah, that's it. Trump will win this state by 25 points, a big shift to the right from before. And out of Oregon, Joe Biden will end up winning this state by around 1 point. This state almost flipped. The last time it was this close was the 2000 election. Can you believe that? And it was a tilt state back then. Now it's just barely lean deep. Out of Washington, Joe Biden will be the projected winner here, going on to win by around 4 percentage points over Donald Trump. And here is the current and actually final electoral map. Donald Trump has 357 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 181. And out of Washington Senate race, Mariah Cantwell will end up winning another term to the U.S. Senate, defeating Raul Garcia by 4 points. And out of Virginia Senate race, it is still too close to call, as Kaine is barely leading Hung Chow right now. And here's the current Senate composition. 39 seats for the Democrats, 60 for the Republicans. Out of Washington's governor race, Bob Ferguson will go on to win his first term as governor, defeating Dave Reichert by 4 points, running even with both Cantwell and Biden. And here is the final governor's composition. 22 seats for the Democrats, 28 for the Republicans. It is now 1:15 a.m. We can now make a call out of the state of Virginia, and Tim Kaine will narrowly get reelected to I believe, his third term as a U.S. Senator, barely defeating Hung Chau. Nova saved his ass big time this election. Here is the final Senate composition: 40 seats for the Democrats, 60 for the Republicans. Here is the final electoral map of the election night: 357 electoral votes for Donald Trump, 181 for Joe Biden. And here is the marginal map on your screen now. Here is the Senate map. As you can see, Republicans flipped 11 seats tonight. They flipped Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Montana, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. A big victory for them here tonight. And here is the marginal map for the Senate as well. And here's the governor's map here tonight. Republicans ended up making a net gain of 1, and that would be North Carolina. I was wrong earlier. They had 27 seats going into the night. I apologize about that. And we can now project the House majority will stay with the Republican Party as they make a final net gain of 49 seats. The red wave they were hoping for in 2022 didn't happen, but it would happen 2 years later tonight, as Republicans now have 273 House seats, and the Democrats only have 162. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.